From personal experience, I know that many African Americans embrace Christianity wholeheartedly. At the same time, however, many of these same African Americans complain about how their ancestors were brought to these shores against their wills as slaves. Now, I'm assuming that Christianity is essentially a white religion that had no counterpart in the African cultures from which many of the slaves were brought. Which makes me wonder why so many African Americans not only accept Christianity, but often do so with a fervor unrivaled by other demographic groups here in the U.S. I personally find the whole concept of slavery to be utterly abhorrent. And yet, when I see descendants of slaves wholeheartedly embrace the religion of their former captors, I have to wonder whether they think that something good came out of slavery after all. In other words, had their ancestors never been brought here as slaves, they would never have found Jesus or been saved. Do any African Americans feel that accepting Christianity is somehow selling out or abandoning their heritage? And how do Christian African Americans rationalize their acceptance of Christianity while at the same time condemning the very act that allowed them to accept Christianity? Keeping in mind that, to a Christian, the act of finding salvation through Jesus is the single most important thing that can happen to a person, and not just a little side benefit to an otherwise horrible act. Yes, I realize I am making some broad generalizations here for the sake of argument, and I apologize if I have offended anyone as a result. But I still think it's a legitimate question. You know, although I've always believed that the Bible is God's word and Jesus is the Messiah prophesied in the Old Testament,